Welcome to Stories by the Fire. I'm Wildfire, and today we'll be reading Inhale, In Hell, There's Heaven. Before we settle in with our story, remember to like and subscribe for my algorithm, for your algorithm, and to keep me encouraged. That being said, grab your comfort beverage if you can, mine is coffee today, and enjoy the story. Inhale, In Hell, There's Heaven is part 2 of a series by The Moon is Dead, called To Be Your Lonely Neighbor. This is a My Hero Academia multi-ship fic and is rated for general audiences. Standard operating procedure means I will be trying to censor language to a certain extent, with the author's permission of course. Neither I nor the author own My Hero Academia or its characters. Summary. Shouto cuts in with the devastating, "Me and Bakugou are in a fight right now." "Bakugou?" Himiko snarls, noting the name change and immediately switching gears. She and Shouto are terribly close when they want to be. "Bakugou is an idiot." Touya would be similarly incensed, but he notices the expressions on Tokoyami and Momo's faces, however, and accordingly disregards his instinctual ire in favor of amusement. "Does Bakugou know you're in a fight, Shouto?" Primly, he sniffs. "He'll figure it out soon enough." "If he knows what's good for him," Himiko agrees. Touya almost launches his phone out of his hand when the front door flies open. He calls his quirk up, but relaxes immediately when he sees Shouto's two-toned head marching in. Fuyumi, who has increasingly been using his coffee table as her schoolwork grading station since Endeavor's beard nearly singed a stack of her kids' assignments last month, similarly unhunches her shoulders at the sight of their baby brother. "Were you raised in a barn?" she scolds. "You'll break the door like that, Shouto." "Sorry, Nissan," he dutifully intones, looking for Touya, the person he should have been apologizing to, but whatever. "Anaki, are you on the phone?" Ah, Touya relaxed too soon. Himiko, who is in fact on the phone with him now, shrieks directly into his ear, "Is that Shouto-kun?" And so it begins. Given all the crap he gives Shouto about his big mouth, it took less time than he'd ever admit to before Touya confessed to his street family about his blood family. They knew as soon as he did that he had one, of course, just vague mentionings of siblings he loves. It took a lot of restraint to keep his villainous family out of the specifics after remembering Touya, but he managed. He went through a predictable spiral and identity crisis before reaching out to his siblings to tell them his story, expecting to be pushed away but unable to deny them the closure. He'd thought he'd be licking his own wounds with the Proto-League afterwards. But Natsuo had frowned. "I admit, it took a lot to convince me you were legit, but it just seems like Dobby is what happens when Touya is left unsupervised in the underbelly of a city." And Shouto laughed, tear streaks still staining his cheeks, when Fuyumi teased, "And I bet you already made a dozen friends, too. Why'd you come here alone?" They wouldn't hear anything about the crimes he had committed. Stealing? Reappropriating life-affirming resources shouldn't be a crime. Drugs? Who, under the same conditions, unhoused with chronic and extreme bodily pain, wouldn't have their own vice or 12? He can be connected to appropriate care as needed to deal with that. Touya tried to throw them off by claiming attempted murder, but they scoffed at the idea that he was some kind of serial killer, hardly entertaining any argument that any alleged attempted murder wasn't in self-defense or to protect people he loves. It was too easy, so Touya, naturally, complicated things. When Touya thinks back on it, it's embarrassing how convinced he was that no one would want him anymore if he came back different. He was on eggshells until he lost his temper with his reunified siblings for the first time, and they burst into uncontrollable laughter. Shouto had gasped. "Oh, it really is you. You were being so nice that we were getting concerned." Embarrassing, yes. And it still took a few weeks of adjusting, relearning one another, but now Touya gets to have the best of both worlds. He wouldn't change a thing. That's how Dabi and Touya became interchangeable to those he allows into his inner circle. It's how he went from vague mentionings of his little sister and little brother and baby brother to incessant stories about Fuyumi and Natsuo and Shouto, relatively seamlessly, letting the League connect the dots on their own. He delighted immensely in Kurogiri's pained remark after he made everyone sit and watch the sports festival with him. "It's Shouto as in Todoroki Shouto, isn't it? When most people say their family isn't made up of villains, they mean they're civilians, not heroes." Touya still wants to bring them all together, but the League won't budge. Not yet. They're afraid to tank the other side, which Touya thinks is stupid. His family loves him, and he loves his family. So family loves family. Simple math, really. But given his own issues, he can't exactly force the issue. The League's apparent disinclination to meet his siblings in person until they clean house, so to speak, doesn't include meeting over the phone, at least for some of them, especially for Himiko. This has caused Touya immense strife. Mulishly, Shouto begins, "Touya ni..." At the same time, Himiko demands, "Dabi-kun, pay attention to me." Their whining is in perfect synchronization. It forces Toya's eye to twitch. This is important. It isn't, and Touya knows it well. The real issue is that they're brats. Shouto and Himiko are Toya's baby siblings in their respective halves of his family. The pair of them insist on out-babying each other every time Touya is unlucky enough to be with them at the same time. Himiko called him to gossip, not because of an emergency. The only reason he didn't hang up, aside from the fact that he genuinely cares about her, is because she'd retaliate, with several passive-aggressive texts and an empty threat about hunting down his super-secret blood family safe house to cut up his face. It's a bi-monthly argument, and Touya isn't looking to up the frequency. Shouto, for his part, threw open the front door with a force that normally Touya would have been concerned about, but he came with two of his most level-headed friends. And taking cues from them, Touya is sure that both of his dramatic teenage leeches are fine. "I was talking," Himiko pouts. Touya turns up the speakerphone volume so she can be heard clearly. "And I haven't even gotten to the part about Oni-chan's book yet." Magne started her book project during her stay in an off-the-books rehabilitative center Touya found last year, and it's been going really well. Touya takes a mental note to check in on her tomorrow, then raises an eyebrow at Shouto. The brat with the most pressing tagline is the one who gets to speak. Shouto cuts in with the devastating, "Me and Bakugou are in a fight right now." "Bakugou?" Himiko snarls, noting the name change and immediately switching gears. She and Shouto are terribly close when they want to be. "Bakugou is an idiot." Touya would be similarly incensed, but he notices the expression on Tokoyami and Momo's faces, however, and accordingly disregards his instinctual ire in favor of amusement. "Does Bakugou know you're in a fight, Shouto?" Primly, he sniffs. "He'll figure it out soon enough." "If he knows what's good for him," Himiko agrees. Fuyumi sighs, rising to pour herself some juice. Touya laughs and waits for Shouto's friends to explain the situation. Momo doesn't disappoint. "Bakugou-kun is spending the 3-day weekend with his mom, because he missed her, though he would never admit as much, and Shouto is doing an awful job at pretending he isn't in his feelings about it." Touya supplies. "Is something going on?" Fuyumi worries. "You two normally communicate really well." The teen pouts, dropping onto the couch in a miserable lump. "No, I just wanted to hang out with him, but I can't today. And it's not serious enough that I can whine at him about it." Fuyumi purses her lips. "So you're not fighting. You just lied so you could speak over Himi-chan." Touya cackles, ignoring his sister's glare. "Manipulative. I like it." Shouto pouts harder. "You're supposed to be on my side." Himiko coos about the ordeal so obnoxiously that she and Shouto are back to being enemies. Rather than be grateful that she isn't upset with him over the slight, Shouto just hangs up on her. He denies her next 3 calls before Tokoyami takes the phone from him. Mostly to save himself from a morose and nagging teenager, Touya smothers his laughter to change the subject. Let's talk about the rabbit hero. He transitions with 0 subtlety. Let's not, Fuyumi tries, but it's to no avail. Ooh, let's! This ship is so cute to me. I can't help but get excited. Himiko summarizes. Yumi-chan and Mirako-chan are in the pre-dating stage of their relationship. Mirako wants to go further, but Ni-chan is in denial. I'm not. Everyone already knows that Mirako is down bad. Please tap that. Toga Himiko. The brothers chorus with matching winces. Touya admits, privately, that he may have made a mistake. Tokoyami, hang up. Am I wrong? The frown is audible in her voice. Touya wishes his displeasure was as transmittable to her through his silence. Is Fuyumi Ni-chan not into... No. Stop. See, that's what I thought. Unlike you two, Fuyumi Ni-san, and Natsuo-kun too, actually, she reconsiders, seem more dominant and toppish. Obvs, Yumi Ni-chan is more switchy about it, but... Shouto and Touya clamor to drown out Himiko's analysis. Neither one wants to know anything about the sex lives of their siblings. Touya is there for when any of them need a body cremated or a shoulder to cry on. And he's their guy if they're ready to be teased about their romantic interest. But some things should stay private. Tokoyami tries to calm them down, but his efforts are for naught, because Touya glimpses Fuyumi, pink-cheeked and nodding, still on the phone with Himiko as she and Momo chat. Clearly, that's a conversation which is none of Toya's business, so Tokoyami's gothically coded comments about appropriate behavior can suck it. Because life can always get worse, Hawks chooses this moment to barge into Toya's unit. Why are you being so loud? Oh, Tsukuyomi! Tokoyami perks up. Hawks-san, I had heard you were recently acquainted with Anaki. Keigo glances over at Touya and he sneers in greeting. Stupid bird picking the locks. Touya can't rag on him for it either, because Himiko chooses this moment to announce herself. Hawks? Winged hero top-ranked 3rd place. Touya corrects with more than a touch of derision. Sickly sweet, Keigo demands. And what place are you in, Dabi? Okay, that's interesting, Himiko says in a voice Touya does not like. Anyways, so why is there a hero there? How come he has your address and I don't? Take a guess, Himi. It's because of Shouto's fat mouth, Touya says, refraining from adding that she's never once asked for his address, and if she needs it, Kurogiri has it. She already knows that. She's just complaining to complain. The fact that he's neighbors with the hero is technically half Keigo's business, and he communicates clearly through eye contact that he doesn't want the information getting around, which suits Touya fine. He isn't sure how much he trusts Birdie yet. Keigo plays it off. Better question, and also my first, what's with all the yelling? I could hear y'all through the window as I was flying by. Touya rolls his eyes. Hawks didn't hear anything. He probably glimpsed Dark Shadow through the window and saw everyone's mouths moving at the same time, using that as an excuse to come bother his intern and Touya too by extension. Momo, once more, is this designated explainer. We were discussing the relationship between Yumi-san and Fuyumi-san, and Himiko-chan made the observation that Fuyumi-san might be struggling to respond to Yumi-san's advances because she is not used to being pursued in such a straightforward manner, especially by someone of Miriko's social standing. Dark Shadow makes an inquisitive noise that Tokoyami further underscores by asking, Is that what she said? That is not remotely close to what I understood. That's what we were discussing while you were consoling the brothers through their breakdown. Momo-chan, Himiko whines. You're supposed to say we use WLW mental telepathy. That's way more fun that way. Shouto observes condescendingly, all telepathy is mental. Suck one, Shouto-kun. I already... Stop! Touya interrupts, instantly queasy. I have been scarred enough by this conversation already. Anyways, Himiko huffs, the problem is that Fuyumi-chan is in a situation she isn't used to and feels awkward about the balance with Mirko, which is not the same as not liking her. Yumi knows that I like her, Fuyumi asserts. I think. Right? Right, Keigo affirms. She gushes about it all the time. Don't worry. As for the other thing, he hums, I mean, Rumi's a switch. Rooms is a switch. She has a very dominant personality, but she says she likes incredulous. Touya interrupts Keigo. Things that are not our business. The bird smirks at him, leaning closer. You approve, Dobbs? I don't need to be privy to the details of other people's bedrooms, Red. Looking down his nose, Touya advises, maybe you should examine why you do. Yet, you're the one who wants weekly updates about whether or not Marie and Yuki have... Coworker gossip is always fair game. Touya had seen the women patrolling, with romantic tension belligerent enough to verge on indecent, so he had passingly asked Keigo about it the other day, and, for the first time ever, the hero actually had something to say worth his interest. But of course, nothing good can last with this guy, and it's not about their sex life. You're getting distracted! This is only partially a sex thing! Fuyumi speaks over Himiko. It's not a sex thing. This is a new dynamic for me, and I need some time to understand it, let alone ease into it. It feels presumptuous otherwise. Regardless of your continual reassurances, yes. So please don't get into it now. Until I can build more confidence in myself, this is where we're at. Rumi and I will figure it out together. That's a very kind, so butt out of it, as expected from his sister. But it makes something click in his head. Touya perks up. Oh, I get it. Nissan. Shouto warns. You should explain it in a different way. It sounds like you need to be shown how serious Rumi is in order to be confident in a relationship between you two. Touya nods along. Yeah, exactly. Why didn't you just say that from the beginning? Because in your head, that means it's time for a shovel talk. That's exactly what it means, which is probably why Shouto continues. She doesn't want to do that. Touya recoils in doubt. Shovel talks are a top-tier guardian responsibility, and they're incredibly useful to weed out the unworthy and welcome newcomers. But, rubbing at her temples, Fuyumi only sighs. She confirms. I don't want you to do that. I need time, Ya-chan. That's the same thing. He squints. She needs time for Rumi to prove herself. A shovel talk will help Rumi prove herself. I'm the one who's insecure, and I'm the one who doesn't want Rumi to deal with that. I will work on myself some more before I invite Rumi into my mess. Keigo raises a hand. To be fair, Rumi wouldn't see it as a burden. And I love that about her, Fuyumi smiles, but it doesn't change my stance. Touya chews on his cheek staples, contemplating. Fine, I won't do anything, as long as she's not pressuring you. She isn't, Fuyumi quickly assures. She's good. Very good. And now she's blushing again. Well, Touya thinks it's cute. Then it'll be fine. I'm not going to stop making fun of you, though. I expect nothing less from you, she responds, utterly resigned. He attempts to ruffle her hair and is immediately frozen up to his elbow. Keigo laughs and points at him like they're in grade school, so Touya matches that energy, placing his frozen block of an arm dead center of the hero's back. He drops and writhes on the floor. Then he shoots away, cursing a storm. Shouto relays the events to Himiko over the phone, while Tokoyami clears his throat. He's very obviously trying not to laugh, a battle everyone else has lost. Which reminds Keigo that his precious intern can hear him, so the winged hero starts to whistle and click in irritation. "If you're swearing at Bird now," Himiko gleefully points out, "Fumikage-chan is now the one that best understands you. Isn't that counterproductive?" Which turns into a debate on whether or not speaking bird is reductive and insulting. Which turns into a classification lesson on bird sounds and bird species, which turns into Touya making dinner for everyone, plus extra to-go plates for the League to be sent through one of Kurogiri's portals. Freeloaders and brats. These are the only people he knows. Touya loves them. Then he catches one of Keigo's feathers, reportioning food Touya has already plated, and he realizes a grave oversight in his earlier statement. Touya only loves most of them. The link to the original work is in the description. Please drop a kudos for the author, as well as a link to the Stories by the Fire Discord server if you want to come chatter. I do welcome constructive criticism in regards to my recordings, as well as any comments regarding the story itself. As we wrap up our video, Firework has a message for you.
Like the video to support Wildfire. Subscribe to Stories by the Fire to find the rest of her videos. Hit the bell so you are notified when the next video comes up. Have a good day or night. Bye-bye!